guys, Jago Reviews here, and I'm back with another 5-year anniversary video. This time I'll be doing my Big Finish collection video. This is the 4th edition of my Big Finish collection, and it really has grown, especially since the first one that I ever done. Coincidentally enough, today, the day I'm filming this on, the 26th of June, this is Big Finish's 20th anniversary, so I feel that this is really fitting. So let's get started. So, first of all, we have the very first ever Big Finish release, Sirens of Time. This was released in 1999. Honestly, it's a bit shit, even by 1999 standards. It just is a painstaking way of trying to fit 3 Doctors in one story, and they don't really meet until the end, so it's not really worth your time. But it's a nice little thing to have. Next, the Genocide Machine, the very first ever Dalek story in Big Finish. This story is really great from what I remember. Again, as you see, it's got the Planet Supreme. It's also got another voice actor for the Daleks, and he stayed for quite a while, and I really like him as well. He goes well with Nicholas Briggs. The next is another Dalek story, the Apocalypse Element. One I'm yet to experience, but I've heard really good things, and I really do like the cover of this. Next up, the Holy Terror. This one is the first appearance of Frobisher in Big Finish, very popular comic strip companion, a companion who I really like. He's very funny and fits 6 Doctor very well. Next up, Dust Breeding. I'm not going to say who this actually features, but it is the first for Big Finish and their first appearance in it, because it is a very great reveal. Next up, Blood Tide, Silurians. This one I'm yet to experience as well, but the cover is absolutely superb. It's definitely best. It's definitely one of the best from the 1 to 50s. The 1 to 50s, if you don't know, they are all out of print, so I'm quite lucky to get these. Next up, a quite rare one, Project Twilight. This one's superb. It's vampires and the 6th Doctor, and it really fits his Doctor very well. It's very weird. I've done a review of this. Please go check it out if you want to. Now we come on to the McGann audios. I have every single 1 to 50 Paul McGann audio, which I completed about around Christmas time. So, first one, Storm Warning. This one's superb. I really do enjoy Storm Warning. It's one of those overrated. It's one of those underrated, overrated stories. Everyone says it's over. Everyone says like it's overrated, but honestly, with its reputation, I just think it's a bit underrated. It's really great. Next up, Sword of Orion. One I can't really get into, but this is actually my favourite Big Finish cover of all time. I really do love this, but the story is just not too great. Next up, the Stones of Venice. A very boring one. It's a historical. It's not truly well regarded, but it's better regarded than this next one, which is Minuet in Hell. So one I still have sealed, which is Paul McGann and Brigadier in America. Next up, Series 2 of the 8th Doctor. We have Invaders from Mars, written by Mark Gatiss. This was the last one, I believe, that I finished my McGann 1 to 50 collection with. Next up, The Chimes of Midnight. This is the most I've ever paid for a Big Finish audio at £25. But I actually still haven't done my marathon of these. Seasons of Fear. This has a very good surprise villain in it. If you want to have a look, go and look into this wiki. It's very odd, and I've heard it really suits him very well. Embrace the Darkness. This is really okay until like the final part. It's a very nice creepy story in the dark, and it really does fit the audio medium very well, especially if you listen to this at night. The Time of the Daleks. This one I do think was kind of the trickiest one for me, because I tried to get it for a decent price. And if you don't know, Genocide Machine, Apocalypse Element, and Time of the Daleks and the Mutant Phase are all in the series called Dalek Empire. They're all very kind of loosely connected, don't really need to listen to them in order. And next up, Neverland. This was one of the hardest ones to get as well, and this is kind of sort of a semi-season finale to the 8th Doctor. Spare Parts. One that I think's good, but not great. I kind of think it does fall apart in the second half, but the first 2 parts are just a great character piece and a great environment piece as well. It really does set this really lovely tone. Spare Parts. I do really recommend listening to this. This I actually got for a bargain of £3, and Holy Terror I got for about £2. Next, Davros. I actually got this on the Big Finish website before it was out of print, and yeah, this is a great one. It's a great character piece where Doctor and Davros are actually forced to work together, and it works really fun. It's just really funny, and Davros has some really good lines in this. He has a really nice speech in there as well. Now, Master by Joe Lidster. I think this is by Joe Lidster. Yeah, it is by Joe Lidster. This one is superb. This one, it's very horror-y. The Master is lost his memory, and he's actually fallen in love, and it's a very nice tale. This is lots of people's favourites, and I don't blame them. Next, Zagreus, with this horrible like cardboard style, which I really don't like. It actually just naturally gets bashed when you put it in and out of the packaging. I'll be putting it out of the shelf, I mean. But Zagreus, this one is great, man. This one is absolutely batshit mental. It has like a psychotic Goldilocks played by Bonnie Langford. By the way, if you expect this to be a multi-doctor story, it's not. The other doctors actually play different roles. So like the Sixth Doctor's a vampire back in the days of Rassilon. But I really love this for what it is. The second part's absolutely just batshit mental. Scherzo, this one it released 52, but I believe this to be the last one to 50. It's very much a departure in style for Big Finish, as it goes to start the brand new arc and Divergent arc. The Juggernauts, this one I actually got from the Doctor Who Experience back in the day. This one is a very highly regarded one, and I really do love Davros in his white chair. And I believe that Corgi ended up doing one of it, and I think just after it came out, it might have been before, and it was a Sci-Fi Collector exclusive. Terra Firma, this one is signed by Paul McGann. This is my favourite audio of all time. It's mental, it's smart, it's very creative in its lines. Like, if you listen closely, a character will end a scene with a line, and then it will transition to the next scene with another character saying that exact same line. I know that it does it for Davros, and it's really interesting. Yeah, this is my favourite audio of all time. It just captivates me with every listen. Next up, Live 34. This one's great. This one is like a radio broadcast, so it's actually really good for when you're on a journey. I listened to this in the car, and I just really love this. It's very dark. It's one of the darkest McCoy stories you can probably listen to, like that next to Master, and of course the next one. But yeah, Live 34, this is a cracker. I know some people don't enjoy it, but I do. Next up, Night Thoughts. I wonder what I was inspired by for my podcast. This one's meant to be a really dark one, and I do actually really want to look forward to this. I actually still haven't listened to it, even though I named my podcast kind of after it. I just kind of want to steal the name because it was quite cool. Next up, Time Works. I love this one. This is a very imaginative kind of... it's almost like The Mind Robber in a way, and it's got these clockwork droids in it, which are very different to... the clockwork droids in the U series. Like, these ones actually use the clockwork for when you hear that, you just know that shit's about to go down. Really recommend this one. It's a lot of people's favourites. Next up, The Kingmaker. This is basically a Doctor Who classic series comedy with the Fifth Doctor. And you know what? It actually just really works. It's one of my favourite audios by Nev Fountain. I really recommend you listen to this one. Something Inside, one I'm yet to experience. It's very dark, gritty, and very much like the EDAs, which I'm pretty sure I'd like. Next up, The Rapture, which is a part of a series with the Fifth Doctor and the Seventh Doctor. Next, Memory Lane, which I think is one of the last 1-to-100s for McGann, before all the stuff with Chris and all that. Next up, Brotherhood of the Daleks. One I'm really not too fond of. Definitely one I need to give this a re-listen. Look, Red Dalek. I do really love Red Daleks. Next up, the anthology release, The Company of Friends. This features a load of the Eighth Doctor's companions. It features the EDA companion Fitz and even the DWM companion Izzy, who, two companions I think are great. So, very happy. Robophobia. For my Seventh Doctor releases, I do keep the reverse logo one because I just think it looks great. Robophobia, it's not one I really like. To be honest, I kind of find this one very boring. This is an amazing one. The Silver Turk. This is a brilliant story with a Mondasian Cyberman, and that's how you make a Mondasian Cyberman scary on the cover. I won't really say much about it because this is one that you just have to go into blind and you'll never be disappointed. The Curse of Davros, one I got years ago, and I still sadly haven't listened to it, but it does have Imperial Daleks on the cover, which is a thumbs up from me. Next up, We Are the Daleks. That's a very big jump in numbers right there, as you see. But yeah, We Are the Daleks. One I'm still yet to listen to, and another one which has Imperial Daleks on, but this one's meant to be a cracker, so I'm really excited for that. Next up, the Silurian Candidate. Oops, nearly dropped that again. The Silurian Candidate is one that came out in September of last year, and it just has an absolutely beautiful cover. It's meant to be very sort of semi-political, so I'm looking forward to this one. Also, Time in Office with the Fifth Doctor when he has to return to Gallifrey to take his mantle actually as the president, so that should be interesting. Next up, Light at the End. Not one I was particularly too amazed with. It's good. It's a very nice little anniversary, but it's not anything special, not mind-blowing. But if you're a new fan, I would say it is quite worth a listen. Next up, the Bluetooth. One I've been meaning to listen to for a while now, but just haven't sadly got around to it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. The Doll of Death, another companion chronicle. I'm really actually I have listened to this one. Sorry. This way it's got a great team with like John Pertwee kicking dogs, so that's all you really need to know. Katie Manning is as charming as ever with her John Pertwee impression. Next, The Mahogany Murderers, the sort of pilot to Jago and Litefoot spin-off. This one's very fun. A very nice mystery behind it, and of course Jago and Litefoot are great. It's a companion chronicle which is read. It does act like an audio, just the way that it uses different voice actors and stuff. Next up, The Toy, which is actually a short trip. This was released as part of the complete history. I actually managed to get this on eBay for like a tenner, and it's even still sealed, and I just haven't really had the heart to open it. Next up, we have the Doctor-specific section of the collection. Fourth Doctor Adventures we will start with. I already have Energy of the Daleks on vinyl, which I've already reviewed. It was actually literally my last video, so you can go check that out. But first, The Darkness of Glass. This is a horror-style story. I've not got the chance to listen to this, but I have heard it's very good, so I'm looking forward to that. Requiem for the Rocket Men, a gorgeous cover, but a disappointing audio. The Master for me is a villain who you use sparingly and you use seriously. He just felt really pointless. It just feels like a very cheap sequel because to the really highly acclaimed companion chronicles. I just don't like it. I just didn't like it. Wave of Destruction. This is the Series 5 opener. I haven't got the chance to listen to this, but I heard this was a really nice, pleasant surprise. I just heard it was very nice, easygoing audio. Next up, The Labyrinth of Buddha Castle. This is 5.2. This is another horror-style story set in Budapest, I think, and in a monk monastery castle thing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to this one as well. I do like my Hammer horror with Tom Baker. Next up, the Fifth Doctor box set featuring Psychodrome and Iterations of I. This is a fantastic box set, great value for money. Peter Davison is just at his pinnacle currently as the Fifth Doctor, and Adric is great in it as well. They really made them fantastic, this TARDIS team. It's great to hear them again because I am a really massive fan of this TARDIS team. It's very highly underrated, and this box set does it complete and utter justice. There was going to be a second one, but unfortunately it didn't come to pass. Instead went into the main range. Next up, with the Eighth Doctor Adventures. Next up, Blood of the Daleks Part 1. This is signed by Paul McGann. I got that signed with Terra Firma on the same day. This was my very first ever Big Finish audio, and I never looked back. It's great. Next, Blood of the Daleks, which is Blood Daleks Part 2, which was my second Big Finish order. Along with the next one. Blood of the Daleks is just a really well-rounded 2-hour story. It's just highly recommended. Next up, Horror of Glam Rock. This one takes a few listens to actually appreciate. First listen I really hated this, but second listen I absolutely adored it. Bernd Cribbins is in this as well, and he's got a really good role. Human Resources Part 1. I blooming love this two-parter. I re-listened to it since I think it was my last CD Big Finish collection, and it blew me away. It's a very fun two-parter, and as you can see, I've got the second part here featuring the Cybermen. Yeah, this is great. Brave New Town in Series 2. I've not had the chance to listen to this yet, but this is Autons, and I'm very excited for that. I've heard it's a pretty good audio, so I'm excited. The Zygon Who Fell to Earth, a story that is really good, actually. The Zygon stories do something very different. It humanises them a lot more, and it really keeps you invested. Very brutal, this one, especially towards the end. Death in Blackpool, which is a sequel to The Zygon Who Fell to Earth, so you do need to listen to these two in order, otherwise you will just be horrifically confused. But Death in Blackpool, it's pretty good. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. It's set at Christmas as well. It's a really nice little Christmas Eve listen. Dark Eyes. A warning to people, whenever somebody says start out with Dark Eyes, a Big Finish, please don't listen to some 8th Doctor adventures, because you need a reason for why the 8th Doctor is pretty down at the end, and you really need to understand that certain relationship. But yeah, Dark Eyes is blooming fantastic. I think I re-listened to this one since my last update, and yeah, this one's just fantastic. My favourite is Tangled Web. That's a really good little character piece for Molly. Doom Coalition 1. Yeah, I only got the first one of this because I kind of thought this box that was shit. Only the Monstrous. Again, I only got the first one. Because I didn't really like it too much. I liked the Innocent, because, you know, everybody likes the Innocent. It just didn't do anything for me. The War Doctor's a concept I just rarely can't get behind. I just strongly believe that Paul McGann should have been the War Doctor, and from what I've heard, they don't really do anything after this as well. So yeah, that is it for this shelf, and we will move on to the next one. Next up, the sort of debated canon section of the Big Finish collection. So here we have Thin Ice. This is the season 27 Lost Stories series. I've not had a chance to listen to this, but Thin Ice was actually one of the very first CDs that ever caught my eye. Fun fact in Forbidden Planet. And it really got me aware of Big Finish. So Crime of the Century. This introduces the brand new companion. And I've heard that the opening to this is pretty much a shot-for-shot creation of what the opening of this episode was meant to be in season 27. Animal, again we see the Brigadier, the new Brigadier Bambera return, and Earth Aid, which was meant to be the season opener. However, they decided to make it the finale. So I'm really interested for how that turns out. Love and War is part of the novel adaptations. I really love this. This is Ace's last sort of story, kind of, depending on what your timelines are. And it introduces Benny Summerfield. Really fun. I really enjoyed it. Very emotional as well. A great release. All Consuming Fire. One of the best covers Big Finish have ever done. However, it just wasn't for me. I really just can't get past the first part of the story. I just think it's hallowingly boring. Next up, the very recently almost out of print series, Dalek Empire. So we have a start with series 1. I don't really want to give my thoughts on these, as I do plan to review these series 1 and 2 together. So yeah, we'll just go through Invasion of the Daleks. I'm just going to say this spin-off is just entirely worth it, and it is my favourite spin-off. Human Factor, which is a very good one. Death to the Daleks, not to be confused with the actual Who story. It actually does have significance for the story. These are all still sealed just because a lot of them are out of print now. Project Infinity, which is the finale, which is a very explosive finale. I really like that one. Series 2, Episode 1. Series 2, Episode 3, because Series 2, Episode 2 is out of print. It was the first one, I think, out of any of Dalek Empire to actually go out of print, and it wasn't even in the £1 sale. So that is very frustrating, and it's really hard to find as well. Series 2, Chapter 4 of Dalek War. Chapter 3, this series actually has David Tennant in it. I'll probably point him out when I can see him. But yeah, this is Chapter 1, The Exterminators. The Healers, which there is David Tennant there. The Survivors. The Demons. This is the longest series. The Warriors. and the future. Really love the titles for this one. Very excited to delve into this one. I've heard it's the best. The Fearless, this has Noel Clarke in it, and this is set during series 1, so they kind of backtrack a little bit. The Fearless Part 2, Dalek Empire 4, The Fearless Part 3, and Dalek Empire 4, The Fearless Part 4. And you see the Emperor. The Emperor is a prolific figure throughout the series, so if anybody has ever wished there are more stories with this Emperor, Dalek Empire is great. You rarely get into the mind of this character, and he becomes one of the really the best villains Doctor Who's ever had. He more becomes a main character in the series. It's really wonderful to actually hear. The very out of print Scorpius, actually was very lucky with this one. I managed to get this for about £3 in a bundle with the rest of the series, and I gave the rest to my good friend Scarro Mondas Productions of the Whovian High Council. Which Scorpius, by the way, in my top 5, it's bloody brilliant. Very dystopian. I really love this one. It's £2.99 on download, and it's on Spotify as well. A lot of these actually are on Spotify, so do have a look. Fear, which I didn't really think lived up to Scorpius, I'll be perfectly honest. The Conversion, which I think was a really nice step up. It really does get going about halfway through. Yeah, I really like this one. And Telos, which I forgot to listen to, so that still has to come. Next up, the very out of print Cyberman 2. This was actually the very, very first Big Finish box set. It was done to a very limited number. I'm not sure actually what the limited was. I don't think they actually ever said what it actually was. Because they wanted to test out the box set format, and this obviously sold like hotcakes, so they decided to do more. And I believe this actually was the very first Doctor Who related Big Finish release to actually go out of print, and it's kind of got this cult status among Big Finish fans of just being like the holy grail almost. But yeah, very rare, and I'm really looking forward to listening to it. Next up, with Innocence. This series is going out of print as well, which is very sad because it's very good. So the start of it, Innocence, which is a wonderful character piece. It's all a wonderful character piece. Fantastic series. I really recommend you all listen to it. Purity, I love the covers. They're very World War II like, and the CD art, it's very like World War II propaganda. It's very nice. We have Corruption and Guilt. Next is Sarah Jane series, which again, this has nearly all gone out of print, which is very, very sad. I do hope that people manage to get this before it sold out. But maybe this one day will get a re-release, so her legacy can live on amongst Big Finish. This is very unlike the Sarah Jane Adventures as well. It's meant to be very, very dark, but I've not had a chance to listen to any of this. So the first one is Comeback. Next, the Teo Connection. Number 3, Test of Nerve. Number 4, Ghost Town. Number 5, Mirror Signal Maneuver. Number 6, Buried Secrets. Number 7, Snowblind, which is a cover that's rarely always stuck out to me. Number 8 is Fatal Consequences. And number 9 is Dreamland, a very wonderful cover there. Something interesting about the series, it was actually meant to include the 8th Doctor companion from the EDA's Sam, as she goes to live with Sarah Jane at the end of Interference. Jago and Litefoot Series 1, delving more into spin-offs. This is a series I wasn't too impressed with, however, I am going to go stick with Jago and Litefoot, as I have been told it rarely just gets mentally great at Series 2, so I am looking forward to that. And to actually fuel some of my Jago and Litefoot love, I have Jago and Litefoot and Strax, which if you hate Strax in the new series, which you most likely do, you'll love him here. They actually make the character likeable, I guess, and they make him really funny. Yeah, I think Jago and Litefoot and Strax is great. This is a non-Doctor Who Big Finish one, and this is The Confessions of Dorian Gray. This is one of my favourite Big Finish ranges. It's absolutely superb. This box set's amazing because you get such value for money, because you get series 1 and 2. The Christmas special with Sherlock Holmes is just great. I really recommend this. It's a really great listen. Now, in terms of these books, this is the limited edition novel adaptations 2, which features Damaged Goods and The Well-Mannered War. Damaged Goods, not one I was fussed on. Didn't really nail the characterization of Seven writing. Really kind of tainted my love for him for a couple of years. And Well-Mannered War by Gareth Roberts, which is just wonderful. This is just an amazing Tom Baker story, and the limited edition number of this is 1,322 out of 10,000. The 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 1, limited edition as well, and this is 1,688 out of 5,000. Something I really was not too fussed on the series. However, Infamy of Zaros really picks up in Series 2. Then Project Valhalla. This is actually a Doctor Who book, without saying it's a Doctor Who book to avoid rights issues. This is part of the Project series, the Forge series of the known, and this again is in league with Project Twilight, Project Valhalla, and there's a few other projects ones as well. Next up, Energy of the Daleks vinyl edition. I recently done a review on this with Infamy of Zaros, so please do check that one out. But yeah, this is an absolutely gorgeous release. And Infamy of Zaros, the vinyl. I was really lucky to get both of these. This one I didn't even get until the day after. I was coming home from a night out and decided to just wait along for HMV to open, strolled in, and yeah, it was there. But I bought it in my sleepless state. But yeah, I don't regret it. It's a really wonderful vinyl. It's a really good story. And yeah, watch my review, please. And that just about does it for my Big Finish collection of 2018. I really hope you enjoyed this one. Big Finish is great, so please support them all you can by purchasing their audios. And I really hope this has helped you deal with some recommendations as well. That's why I kind of went over each story in its own little way, just to explain what it is, even the ones I haven't listened to, just to give you a little taste, and if you wanted to purchase any of them, which I really recommend you do. So anyway guys, thank you very much for watching. I have done other reviews, so please do check out my DVD collection, my Rose Target review, and my review of the Big Finish vinyls. So thank you very much guys, and I will see you later. Goodbye.